All right, let's get started here. Let's take a question. This one comes from our friend Raul Duke out of Barstow. Okay, this is kind of a bit of a long one, so we might have to paraphrase a little bit here. I apologize. Not a problem. We'll get to the heart of your question real quick. All right, so Raul writes, every now and then when your life gets complicated and the wheels start closing in, the only cure is to load up on heinous chemicals and drive like a bastard from Hollywood to Las Vegas. We had 2 bags of grass, 75 pellets of mescaline, 5 sheets of high-powered water acid, a salt shaker half full of cocaine, and a whole galaxy of multicolored uppers, downers, screamers, lappers, and also a quart of tequila, a quart of rum, a case of Budweiser. Not that we needed all that for our trip, but once you get locked into a serious drug collection, the tendency is to push it as far as you can. We were somewhere around Barstow on the edge of the desert when the drugs began to take hold. I remember saying something like, I feel a bit lightheaded, maybe you should drive. And suddenly there was a terrible roar all around us and the sky was full of what looked like huge bats, all swooping in and screaming and diving around in the car, which was going about 100 miles an hour with the top down to Vegas. Okay, Raul, I'm going to go ahead and cut this short a little bit. Sounds like you had a run-in with law enforcement. I assume your question is, what's the appropriate way to deal with law enforcement? All right, so whenever you're pulled over, regardless of the reason, the same rules apply. You have 2 goals. 1 is to de-escalate the situation, and 2 is to be the least memorable part of that officer's day. So when I say de-escalate the situation, you got to think about a lot of people have worked customer service jobs in the past, fast food jobs, retail jobs, so you understand what it's like dealing with the general public. They're not great. And so that's this officer's job, is to deal with the public every day. He is even less excited to talk to you as you are to talk to him. Right up until he pulled you over, this officer was doing something else. You have caught his attention. You have pulled him away from something he'd rather be doing. So keep that in mind. He doesn't want to be there either. So you don't want to do anything that evokes emotion. You don't want to make him angry. You don't want to make him annoyed. You don't want to make him irritated. How are you doing, officer? Are you busy today? Those type of questions bring that level down. Part 2 is to make this the least memorable event in that officer's day. Get the conversation over as quickly as you can. Be friendly, be open. It's not a courtroom. The rights that you have on the side of the road are completely different than the rights that you have in the courtroom. This is the officer's space. He's the one in charge. Respect that, and it'll be over quickly. Now, the officer's going to ask you a lot of questions. Some of those you may not want to answer. That is your choice. Again, avoiding those questions is just going to provoke delay, continue this discussion on the side of the road, when really you want to be having that discussion in the courtroom if you feel like you've been wronged somehow. But as a general rule of thumb, that officer has a job. He has a boss. His ultimate goal is just to make it through the day and to get home. He's not out to get you. You don't want to stand out. You don't ever want to be the story that he tells to his buddies. You want to be totally unmemorable. The reason for that is emotion creates memories. When you're upset, you tend to remember the details. You want the officer to just be perfectly calm and this to be nothing. If it ever goes to trial, you don't want him to remember much. You just want him to be traffic stop number 5 out of the day and have no further memory beyond that. Again, you're going to have a battle in court, not on the side of the road. All right, everybody, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss part 2 of today's episode. This one's going to be a big, exciting one for us. We have professional musician David Grohl with us today to talk about the time he got to meet the drummer from Nirvana. That's going to be exciting. You don't want to miss it.